the land of the dawn-lit mountains. Home to beautiful monasteries. Paradise of the botanists. There are a lot of ways to identify with India's easternmost state, Arunachal Pradesh. Another feather in the cap was added in the end of 2017 when Arunachal hosted a round of the Indian National Rally Championships for the first time ever. The heritage town of Zero, located around 115 kilometers from the state capital Itanagar, was the venue chosen for the penultimate round of 2017 MRF FMSCI INRC season. Motorsport enthusiasts from all over the country undertook a long journey to reach the Zero Valley, located at an altitude of almost 8,000 feet. It was unlike anything the season has seen so far. The views were mesmerizing, the weather was cold and the roads were inviting.
It's great, the enthusiasm here is amazing. All these people love motorsport and rallying and racing. They were offered the round of the INRC this year, so we have some lovely terrain here at this place in Zero. Great weather, little cold in the morning, but perfect for us.
Well, this is obviously the first time that we're coming here, so we're really excited. And I think the stages are very technical and fabulous. They lived up to the expectations of the stages that we were told they would be.
The series is organized by the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India, or FMSCI, with tyre manufacturer MRF coming in as a title sponsor. Kolkata-based Ramakrishna Race Performance Management Private Limited have signed on as promoters for the season. They also got on board other marquee companies as key sponsors. These included the likes of Mahindra Adventure, Kart Air, Isuzu, York and Arya.
Promoter basically first is to get sponsors on board, convincing them. At least now, the beginning it was really tough because we had no content to give it to them. But after last year's successful round, we have got lots of media contents to give it them, and they are gradually, slowly getting convinced. So, little bit things have started rolling. And then get the organizers on board, and that's a very tough thing because the organizers, even if you want to run Pan India, there isn't much. I won't say isn't much. There are very few out of South. So that also we need to look into how to spread all over India. So the corporators will definitely want to go Pan India. So that is what we are trying to put things in place.
Also sponsored by the Department of Tourism, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, the event went a notch up for INRC as it became the first to get a chopper surveillance courtesy Sky One Airways. As is the case with every rally event, the proceedings in Zero began with the compulsory scrutiny of cars. This was probably the most picturesque service park the stakeholders had seen for a very long time. The cars entered the scrutiny bay one by one to ensure that everything was up to the mark. There's a long list of safety checks that are made to see that all mechanical parts of vehicles are working fine. It is not easy to attain an OK sticker from the scrutineers, as all requirements are to be met, including having a special rally insurance for the participants as well as vehicles. The sole purpose here is to ensure maximum safety for all the participants of the rally. Despite all of this, the sport comes with a warning that it can be dangerous and that all stakeholders are present here at their own risk. While their cars were going through the process of passing scrutiny, the competitors went for a route recce inside the stages. In all, there were 8 stages to be run in the Rally of Arunachal, including 2 in the night. It was important for drivers and co-drivers to analyze the road conditions in order to be absolutely ready to take on the challenges the special stages would offer.
The whole idea of doing a recce remains the same. There's going to be no change to that. But of course, there's a lot of change in the surface, so we've ensured to mark all of that. This is a very high-speed rally, and we've got the distances accurate, hopefully.
If we make a perfect note, then we can make a good time on others. So this rally, we have Gaurav Space note is so perfect, and his experience of APRC will pay the dividend here.
So I think Reiki is very important for an INRC kind of a format because you get to know the terrain and you're writing your pace notes. So if you're going flat out, you really need to know every turn. You just can't rely on the road books. So and then secondly, you get to know the terrain, the you know how the track is, you know whether it's rocky or pebbles are there or it's it's dirt. So it really prepares us as a driver, and then you can plan your car, set up accordingly.
The stages definitely by far are one of the best, or I would say the best in the country, gravel stages. Really fast, really technical, complete driver stages. You need full commitment from the driver and full commitment from the co-driver to read out the pace notes, because they come in really quick, because the corner after corner, while you're doing speeds of, you're averaging about 70-80 kilometers an hour at least.
The sun sets very early in the northeast, so it wasn't long before darkness descended on the Zero Valley. But it was in no way an end to proceedings on the opening day of the rally. Things were just getting heated up as the participants got ready for the ceremonial flag-off. First to take a start were Gaurav Gill and his navigator Musa Sharif from Mahindra Adventure. The duo had already won all the rounds this year with the exception of Chikmagalur, where Gill could not participate as he was driving in the APRC round that ran simultaneously around the coffee plantations of the Karnataka hill town. They were followed by Dean Mascarenhas and Strupta Padiwal driving a Volkswagen Polo. The Mangalore lad has impressed one and all with his performance this season. Next to the start line was previous round's winner Kanna Kadur along with his navigator Nikhil Pai. And after that was Kanna's teammate from Arca Motorsport Rahul Kantraj, who along with his navigator Vivek Bhatt drove a Mitsubishi Cedia. Then came the second Super XUV 500, driven by Mahindra Adventure driver Amitrajit Ghosh, who was accompanied by his navigator Ashwin Nayak.
The stages are very nice, just proper driver stages, and I think anybody who can drive hard here can drive anywhere in the world. And I think everybody is happy with the stages, and they're very nice to drive on, and you really need to be committed to the stages. And I think difficulty factor, it's up there as with the most difficult stage in INRC that we get. It's going to be, now that it's at night, it's going to be even better. Obviously with the lights, but it doesn't change anything. As always, night you're going to be a little off than the daytime, but you need to go. Now it's starting to drizzle, so that's going to add to it, and it's going to be fun.
This would be my second rally in the night, so for me it's I'm gaining as much experience as I can. Obviously a lot of other competitors have a lot more experience driving at night, so it's an additional challenge, but we're up to it.
Gaurav is actually very good in the night driving. He remembers all the corners, and his memory is so good compared to anyone, I say. And his notes also for the night stage, very good notes he made. So we are looking for it.
As the cars were getting flagged off, it also began to drizzle, sending the preparations and plans of a lot of drivers in a tizzy. The wet surface meant the cars would behave differently, and the drivers would have to be more cautious and probably alter their driving styles.
Obviously, we need to make some changes in the car as well if it becomes too wet. But apart from that, obviously, when it's wet, the grip isn't there. If it's a little bit of drizzle, obviously, it's going to give us more grip because the dust gets binded because of the water. But if it's too much, then obviously we're going to slide around, so there'll be less grip. So, but it's more fun. This stages, there's a lot of space. It's quite wide at places. There are narrow bits, but mostly it's wide. So you can get away with going sideways.
The enthusiasm on display was amazing as the cars took a start for the opening stage of the MRF FMSCI Rally of Arunachal. Mahindra Adventure's Gaurav Gill and Musa Sharif, who have a good experience of negotiating a night stage, were at ease and were the fastest as they raced to the finish in 13 minutes 29.6 seconds. In contrast, Gill's championship rival Dean Mascarenhas took a full 20 seconds more to finish the 14-kilometer long stage. The second fastest in the stage was Gill's teammate from Mahindra Adventure, Amitrajit Ghosh, who went really fast to clock a time which was just 5 seconds more than Gill. Rahul Kantraj of Arca Motorsport gave the audience some thrill with this long jump just before the end, but could only muster a time of 14 minutes 19.3 seconds. Defending champion Karna Kadur and top contender Arjun Rao's cars stalled just after the start and blocked the road, forcing the organizers to cancel the stage. Both withdrew as the rest of the drivers came out in a convoy and were given the same scratch time of 14 minutes. In the second night stage, Gill extended his lead over Dean and everyone else by clocking the quickest time of 6 minutes 58.1 seconds. The INRC 2 division was claimed by Yunus Ilyas and Harish Kumar as they gained a significant advantage in the night stages.
We did slip and slide around more than I would like to and more than the car would like to last night. We did have a moment or two where we lost our line and we really slid wide in one or two places. But I guess that's what rallying is all about. We have some special tires from MRF which helped us, get some whatever traction was available.
Really fast stages. As a driver, you want that. You have to have those fast stages. You need that rush. We had to make sure that we just keep the car on the road and not push it too much. But by mere watching and mere judgment, I think that was the only way to get the car to the finish.
Good, the stages were really good. I think one of the best stages that the INRC has seen. It was very slippery. The first stage, mainly the first stage there was zero grip. But then again, that's what made the challenge. It was a good, clean run. We didn't take a lot of chances, but we did drive hard. But we started out well. The first stage we lost only 5 seconds to Gaurav, which is a good. We had a good run.
A, it's the altitude, and B, it's really cold. So the altitude does make a difference to the horsepower of the cars. All the cars are running at least 12 to 15% lower on power that they would usually do.
As the sun rose over the Zero Valley, the competitors got ready to take on the 6 remaining stages of the MRF FMSCI Rally of Arunachal. But due to adverse weather conditions, the first 2 stages of the day had to be cancelled. This meant the drivers and navigators had to wait for a long time in the biting cold to take their cars out and compete. Asked them and they agreed that high altitude and cold weather do have a role to play in the overall dynamics of the rally.
A, it's the altitude, and B, it's really cold. So the altitude does make a difference to the horsepower of the cars. All the cars are running at least 12 to 15% lower on power that they would usually do.
As you go down to the sea level, your cars perform better because there's more oxygen there. And when your cars come up higher, there's lack of oxygen here. So they will reduce your performance.
Your change of weather affects you because you're coming out of the heat and then suddenly you enter the cold. So you really need to be covered up. But yeah, I mean, it's better than the deserts and the hot rallies. Much better.
Cold weather, it's okay. Obviously, the tires don't come up to temperature so fast. That's a little bit, and the brakes also don't get that hot. But wherever, on the other hand, the engine also is a lot cooler because it's about the temperature. But obviously, biggest area is that we lose power because of altitude.
Finally, the cars reached the start point for the 5th stage of the rally. During the day, the drivers had to run the same stages as they did the previous night, but in reverse. Multiple APRC title winner Gaurav Gill from Team Mahindra Adventure once again proved to be the fastest driver in the opening stage of the day that was 7.5 kilometers long. This meant he built a solid lead over 50 seconds in the first 3 stages that took place in the rally. But teammate Amitrajit Ghosh and Dean Mascarenhas were right on his heels, and a small error of any sort would have cost his position. In fact, Dean finished just 1 second slower than Gill, and Ghosh finished third fastest, finishing with a time of exactly 7 minutes, 10 seconds slower than Gill. Strong crowds were present once again to witness the high-speed action, and it was enough to prove that the sport was striking a positive chord with the locals of Zero Valley in Arunachal Pradesh. In the second stage of the day though, Dean Mascarenhas got the better of Gill by clocking the fastest time of 12 minutes 31.3 seconds. This was more than 15 seconds quicker than the Mahindra Adventure driver. Amitrajit Ghosh was fast as well, finishing less than 2 seconds closer than Dean. All of the drivers were much slower as it took well over 13 minutes to finish the 14-kilometer long stage.
We started early on in the morning. There was a lot of fog today, but we were lucky that the sun came out quite quick. So parts of the stage were dry and parts of the stage were really wet under the trees. And there's a lot of pine trees in the region, so they all obviously leaves and the pines fall down on the stage, so it becomes even more slippery. So you need to watch out on certain patches where it can catch you out.
Basically, in the morning stage, we had to just pace ourselves. It rained overnight, so we had no idea where it's going to be slippery, which corner is going to be slippery. Just the few corners which we had marked it earlier, those were just about it. And we had to make sure that we just keep the car on road and not push it too much.
I thought the rain would make it far more difficult, but there were like just a couple of patches what we had already marked on recce saying it would be slippery. So the rain didn't play that much of like a fun breaker here.
The first stage was good, but the second stage we lost a lot of time. We lost over 30 seconds in only 6 kilometers. We couldn't do anything. The car felt very slow and we lost a chunk of time there.
After a brief stopover in the service park, the drivers were back one last time to take the 2 remaining special stages of the Rally of Arunachal. It was Gaurav Gill once again who got the fastest time of 6 minutes 33.8 seconds to finish the 7.5 kilometer long stage. Second fastest was teammate Amitrajit Ghosh in his Super XUV 500. While driving his Volkswagen Polo, Dean Mascarenhas finished third. After the overnight rain, the surface had finally dried up, which meant the drivers could go faster in the final stages. Going into the last stage, Gill had a comfortable lead, but it was still a close call on who would take the second overall spot. Two-time INRC champion Amitrajit Ghosh and Ashwin Nayak, in spite of mechanical issues, were in second place till stage 7 with a 0.02 second lead over Dean. But in the last stage, due to power steering failure, they had to settle for third place. They were just 11 seconds behind Dean and 43.2 seconds behind Gill's final tally of 58 minutes 50.4 seconds. The 14-kilometer long stage ended as the drivers got back to the service park and parked their cars in the park fourme.
In terms of the surface becoming bad, it was more or less consistent through the first run to the second. But yeah, obviously because it dried down, especially places under tree cover and where the pine tree is there on the road, obviously that became more dry, so there was more grip.
A big difference from morning and afternoon stages where the grip levels were changing quite a lot. But we held on to our speed and we drove according to the other people's pace in the rally to ensure that we finished on the top for the third time this year. We got a hat-trick, so it's great for us and the team.
Last loop of stages we had to make 2.5 seconds, I think, on Dean. We made 2 on the first stage, but then our power steering failed about 4 or 5 kilometers from the finish. So obviously without the power steering you can't drive, and the last 2 kilometers is tarmac. So there's nothing much we could do, and I think we lost 10-12 seconds there. So, but overall good, after Chikmagalur, not finishing in Chikmagalur, to finish here on the podium, it's nice.
Yeah, I just kept it calm. He's an amazing driver, so he was pushing it, so I was pushing it. So that's rallying, you see. That's how it is. You have to be fighting with one another. But yeah, both of us had a great run. Probably I was lucky enough to get the last stage win.
We came back on the service, we still had a very slender lead, but going back again, we lost the lead in the third stage for today. And even though we pushed hard the last stage we had a clean run actually. We couldn't make up the deficit.
The prize distribution ceremony got underway and the deserving winners were handed out rather unique looking trophies. Gaurav Gill from Mahindra Adventure was overall winner. He is now ahead with 75 points from 3 starts this season, despite missing round 4 in Chikmagalur and simply needs to drive smart in the final round in Bengaluru. All he needs is 1 point to win the championship. Dean Mascarenhas with 63 points has to be reckoned with though, as an upset victory can still set him up for the 2017 championship. He finished second overall, while Amitjit Ghosh and Ashwin Nayak finished third overall.
It's a driver's rally. The stages here are really fast and a lot of corners here. So that means the cars are very small and very, very nimble. So they can turn around very quickly into the tight spaces. But we had some special setup in our XUV and that helped us gain some good lead. After Kanna was out yesterday, it was pretty much for us, we knew what direction we need to head into and gain our lead and make sure that we finish ahead of Dean.
My main goal was to win my category. After I've had a rough season last year, I just wanted to have a smooth season this year, which I've been consistently doing, and I've had a great run so far in the overall as well as in my category. So let's see how it goes. The K1000 is the last round. Definitely I'm going to push. I'm not going to just, you come to a rally to drive fast. So.
Obviously K1000 we have nothing to lose, so we'll just go for the win. That's the only thing that we can do, because there's not much to lose. The only thing is we'll have to look at the team championship to see whether that is sealed or not. If it's not sealed, obviously then you can't just go flat out and not finish.
Yunus Ilyas and Harish Kumar won the INRC 2 category, while Rahul Kandrash took the second place and fifth overall to stay ahead in the race for the category title. Dean took home the INRC 3 category, while Gaurav Chiripal became the winner of the open class. The final round of this year's season will take place in the Garden City of Bangalore, where the season's champion will be crowned. Stay tuned for all the action from the final rally of MRF FMSCI INRC 2017.